there, thank you so much again for joining me on this channel. As always, I'm very grateful for all your previous views, likes, subscriptions and shares. October is Black History Month and I thought it would be great to look at some religious trailblazers. Origins of Black History Month come from the United States of America in the 1930s. It became an official event in 1970 when Kent State University in Ohio decided to recognise the achievements of the African American community. In 1976, it became a national event, and education centres, community centres, places of art celebrated the contributions of the African American community in the United States. In the UK in 1987, there was an event known as African Jubilee Year. A couple of the core aims of the campaign was to highlight that despite the fact the Race Relations Act of 1976 had been in play for the best part of a decade, there was still inequality. In addition, it was also about celebrating and recognising the huge contribution that the African community had made to the United Kingdom, both socially, politically and economically. Since then, Black History Month has firmly embedded itself on the UK calendar. Bhante Buddharakkhita from Uganda is the first African Buddhist monk to be trained in the Theravada tradition. Bhante first encountered Buddhism when studying in India in 1990, and he was so drawn into the faith that he decided to practice it. He was ordained as a monk in 2002. He is the founder of the Ugandan Buddhist Centre, as well as teaching meditation across the globe. This quote from Bhante really struck me. I'm looking at meditation practice and how it can heal intergeneration trauma. Most people are traumatized. We have colonial hangovers and a lot of stuff is going on. The moral compulsion that Bhante feels to help heal those who have been traumatized through the legacy of colonialism. It's also really striking about how the power of meditation can be used to heal people's and well-being. The Bishop of Dover, Rose Hudson Wilking, is the Church of England's first black female bishop. She has had some remarkably high-profile jobs. In 2007, she was appointed as chaplain to the Queen. Then in 2010, she became the first woman to be appointed chaplain to the Speaker of the House of Commons, there right at the centre of government. He was appointed as Bishop of Dover in November 2019. The Bishop of Dover has shattered all sorts of glass ceilings and become firsts in so many situations. There are no shortage of quotes or statements from the Bishop of Dover. This one, though, was particularly striking. I'm Britain's first black woman bishop, and I long for the day when that's not unusual. This gorgeous photo of a model as the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of good luck and fortune in Hinduism, is part of a campaign known as Dark is Divine. The context for this image is something I knew very little about. In India, there is a fashion for fairer skin, and there's all sorts of cosmetic products and makeup to help achieve that. Often seen too are the murtis, the images, if you like, of the gods and goddesses with fairer skin. And the photographer, Neil Naresh, he wanted to challenge that and embrace the fact that literally dark is divine. Bharadwaj Sundar also worked on the campaign, and there was a fantastic quote where he says, I am a dark-skinned person and all my friends are dark-skinned too. So how do I identify with fair-skinned gods and goddesses? It's a really powerful statement. It's about somebody trying to connect with their god or goddess. It's about identification, and it's also about representation. Nathan Ellington was a former professional football or soccer player in England. He played for a number of clubs. He's also a Muslim. He reverted in 2005. Inspired by his faith in 2011, Nathan set up the Association of Muslim Footballers. The idea behind it is to support players and families in the Muslim tradition, to provide a network of support, and also to educate those in football about the Islamic faith. There's a great quote from Nathan talking about salat, that's prayer in Islam. He says, everything you do, make sure there's a way to work around your prayer. Prayer is most important. Prayer must take preference over everything. It is possible. I did it throughout my career. It's great, isn't it? There he was, a top level athlete, and he was still able to honour his faith, and that's hugely inspirational. African American Alysa Stanton became the world's first black female rabbi in 2009. Alysa converted to Judaism at the age of 24. Before becoming involved in leadership in a synagogue, Alysa was a psychotherapist and was actually a first responder to the Columbine High School massacre in 1999. There's a very humbling quote from Alysa. On her appointment as a rabbi, she said, "I try not to focus on being the first. I focus on being the best human being, the best rabbi I can be." Her humility, despite being such a significant religious trailblazer, really is quite overwhelming. Krishna Kaur Khalsa is an African American Sikh and a very skilled yoga teacher. Before she got involved in teaching yoga and following the Sikh faith, she was an extremely accomplished actor, performing not just in movies but also on Broadway. In 1990, she set up the International Black Yoga Teachers Association. And she also set up another organisation, Yoga for Youth, which supports those young people who are caught in the criminal justice system in the US. There is a lovely quote where she says, "My work fulfills me. It gives me hope for the future of humanity and makes me optimistic about stepping into the challenges of these times." In Sikhism, the idea of seva or service is an important part of the faith. And you can see with Krishna's organisations that she set up how she's fulfilling that Sikh duty of seva. I know this has only been a helicopter view of these religious trailblazers. As always, if you are able to, please do like, subscribe and comment. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, enjoy your learning.